Right.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Another Dime in the Jukebox. Today, my guest is San Diego-based singer-songwriter Matthew Phillips.
Hello, everybody.
And Matthew has had an incredible career. He has over 117,000 followers on Instagram, and he is endorsed by bands like Ender, Taylor Guitars, GSS Strings, and Voss Water. Hi, Matthew. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Hello, Maria. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks.
Awesome.
So, first of all, how old are you?
I am over 30 now, getting up there.
Let's see. And how old were you when you realized that you wanted to be a musician?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say junior high. Um, because I played piano from when I was very young, and at some point in junior high, someone handed me a guitar, and I remember just kind of picking it up and just thinking, wow, like this is it. This this feels right. And I still play piano here and there, but the guitar has always kind of been my main instrument, and it's just there's something about it that I really do cherish, and it's my main instrument. I play others, but guitar is my main thing.
See, yeah, I'm kind of that way with vocals. I tried to play guitar back when I was 16. That was a long time ago, but I never really stuck. But I have always loved singing, and I came to love it even more when I started singing again in my mid. So, you currently live in San Diego,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
have you always lived there? Like, were you born there?
Yeah, San Diego, born and raised.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I should really visit it since I've been living in LA for over a decade now, and I've never been to SD. So,
You got to come down.
yeah, I definitely should. And this is like a staple question that I ask everyone I interview. But what instrument did you start with, like when you first started playing this?
Piano.
Nice.
So piano kind of laid the foundation for some theory, general chord structures, kind of really understanding music. And so that when I came over to guitar, it made it a bit easier, but guitar is kind of a different animal in a way. So um, yeah, piano is where I first started.
Definitely nice. Very nice. And how many instruments do you play in solo?
Oh, it's tricky to answer this question because if you play piano, you can program MIDI. And if you program MIDI, you can basically play any instrument you want. So I would say I play four instruments really well: piano, bass, guitar, and drums. I'm not the best drummer, but I can get by.
Nicely. Hmm. Who were your musical inspirations when you were growing up?
Mm. I would say I learned a lot from Eric Clapton, um, Stevie Ray Vaughan, BB King. A lot of the blues players were big influences of mine. Um, and then I saw a performance at the Super Bowl with Prince, and that kind of opened my eyes to being an entertainer and not just being just a guitar player, but like actually how to perform and work with the crowd and get crowd participation. The way he just commanded the stage was something that um, drew me to him. And I was pretty young at the time, and I was just floored. I was like, "Wow, that was powerful. That was beautiful." And then Purple Rain, um, that was a majestic performance. Actually raining and him playing that solo, and man, it was a magical moment, and that really kind of inspired me to be like, oh, I can, I think I want to try that. I want to try and be an artist.
Nice. And when was it that you saw the performance?
I want to say that Super Bowl was 2007 or 2008.
See. So yeah,
That's
you're
gonna,
um, hmm, yeah, we were like in high school.
yeah. I was pretty young back then. It's gonna kill me that I don't know the actual date of that Super Bowl, but it was a while ago.
Yeah, well, I mean that's great. It was definitely a really long time ago, but um, hmm, I mean it's definitely great that you got that inspiration really early on.
Mm.
Um, And how old were you when you played your very first show, and what venue was it?
Now, when you say like the very first show, do you mean like very first show as Matthew Phillips or very first show as a band that I was in? Give me some more
I'd
pointed.
say like your very first show in general, even like before you
Okay.
started playing as a solo artist, before you were in like an official band, just in general.
Okay.
You did like a very first open mic night when you went to school.
So I would say there's two. The first one, again, I wouldn't really call it a show, but technically it is, would be like a piano recital when I was young.
Mhm.
But then the one that I would consider the first show was like a talent show at some place in Claremont. I don't even remember. It was such a long time ago. But I stood up there with my guitar. I had a looper pedal and I played a blues loop, and I became known kind of around San Diego as like the blues kid or the kid that could play the blues. So that would be my first show.
I see. And how about the very first time that you played at like an official venue? Like it was some
Mm.
club in San Diego, I'm guessing, or maybe even LA.
Again, it's tough because it's like I had a band before I became a solo artist. So it's like what, is it the first show the same as your first question?
Yeah, like the very first show that
Okay.
you played with like a band, or
Yeah.
maybe even by yourself, but it was like at an actual music venue.
I don't, oh, okay. So see, that changes it too. Okay, so at an actual music venue, I'm gonna say it was the House of Blues San Diego when I started. It was my first show, and we were working with a pretty cool promoter, and he was kind of like, "Oh yeah, here's 40 tickets," and I was just like, oh, "Okay, cool." And then we sold like 120, and he was like, "I've never had anyone do that," and I was like, "Heck yeah, cool." And yeah, so it's been a crazy ride ever since then.
I bet, yeah, especially if you went from just 40 tickets to 120, that's definitely like a pretty big jump. So yeah, it's definitely great that you sold so many. Mhm. Do you have a favorite venue to play at in San Diego?
Yes. Um, I really, really, really like playing the fair. Um, they always treat us so well. They always take care of us. And it's such a beautiful venue. It's outdoors. The sound is always incredible. The people that they hire are always just amazing people that I've actually met at other venues. And then when I go there, it's like just seeing an old friend. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Frank? Or what's up, Patrick? And I always end up knowing most of the staff. The San Diego music industry is pretty small. So um, it's cool that the Del Mar Fair uses a lot of the really, really top local talent. So yeah, I would say the Del Mar Fair is by far my main favorite venue here. Um, my favorite show I've played would probably be Kaboo, which was a festival where Tom Petty was playing, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Muse, and Pink, and I happened to be on that bill. So that'd be my favorite gig slash venue I've ever played.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, obviously to be on the same bill as all of those like really famous established artists. It's like it would be a dream
Mhm.
true for any musician. So
Yeah, there really was.
yeah, like I mean, I did some research on you, and you definitely have a really like huge, extensive career, and
Thank
it,
you.
yeah, and it's amazing that you were able to play on the same bill with artists like that, and I bet it was like a huge, huge event. Like it must have been like thousands of people.
Yeah, I think it was 50,000 a day, something like that. It was pretty intense, but one of the biggest things I've seen.
That's that's awesome. And
I agree.
how about like, do you have a favorite venue to play at in Los Angeles?
Oh, shoot. I don't want to like say one, but then it's actually two.
Mhm,
I'm gonna give you two because they're both really special to me.
mhm,
Um, I'm gonna say my top venue is the Troubadour. Um, Remarkable. There is magic in that room on that stage. There's just something special there. It's hard to describe, but it is special. And then I would say right next to it, it would be the Saban Theater. Those two venues were incredible moments in my career, and I'm so thankful that I got to play those two places, and I can't wait to go back again. Hopefully soon.
see. Well, nice, very nice. I mean, yeah, I love the Troubadour. Have you only played there once?
Yes, I've only played there once. Um, and what's interesting about the Troubadours, my friend Christopher Leva of the Falling Doves just played there, and I remember texting him. I was like, "Let me know if you feel the magic." And he texted me that night. He's like, "Yeah, I felt it." And I was like, I told you, there's something special about that room. It's just, it's, it's beautiful."
Yeah, I actually went to that show. Well,
Oh, okay.
as you know, Leva is a dear friend of mine. We've been friends
Mhm.
for so like 6 years now, which is like crazy to me. And yeah, I definitely made sure to go and see him play at the Troubadour. And like the crazy thing about that show is that the very same day, the School of Rock West LA had their showcase at the Viper, and I have been
Okay.
taking classes with the School of Rock for the past 4 years. I
Mhm.
started with West LA, but 2 years ago I moved to School of Rock Venice. But I still like to go to all of their showcases, and like that the day when Chris played at the Troubadour, I went to the SOR showcase at the Viper first, and so that
Mm.
show started at like I got there at like 1 p.m. And so basically I was pretty much on my feet for like the whole entire day. And by the
Oh
time
man.
yeah, like honestly, I had no idea that it would hurt that much after like so much standing. And by the time I got to the Troubadour, I was already pretty exhausted, but I was like, I have to see Chris play. Like I have to stick it out.
Yeah.
And honestly, like every single time I hang out with the Fallen Doves, and I'm friends with all of them. And our friend Jessica Clausing, who is
Mhm.
a music blogger, she was also there, and just like being with all of them definitely made up for the fact that I was and honestly doing this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy day, but really fun.
And I think that just a testament to the power of music right there.
Exactly. Have you always been a solo artist, or did you ever play with bands?
So I did have a band, and I kind of started that first. Um, and we had a little bit of traction, some local gigs, but it was a way, and it solidified kind of like, okay, this is what I want to do. Um, and so I remember we had a gig at Chula Vista High School, um, which was a local high school around here, and yeah, it was just kind of one of those moments where you're like, wow, like there's something here. I don't know if what we're doing or if it's right, but it just felt like this is what I really need to pursue and do. Um, Kind of fizzled out of the band, and I learned a lot. I learned how to do all kinds of what we call like the back end stuff, graphic design, video, sound, production. And, during that time, I was just honing my craft, honing my skills, and learning those things. And then when it came to my name, I kind of had a very good idea of how things worked, but it was almost like a fresh start. Um, but I knew if I use my name that there's a bit more pressure because I'm not relying on anybody else. It's up to me to make things happen. It's my name on the line. And so I've always tried to hold myself to a really high standard as far as music, our commitments to people, the venues. You never want to overpromise anything. And we've done really well. And I'm really proud of the music and everything that we've done.
Well, as like honestly as you should be, which brings me to my next question. So as I mentioned, like during my introduction, you have 117,000 followers on Instagram, which is like huge, and you're endorsed by major brands, Taylor Guitars, Fender, Boss. So you obviously have a huge career. So can you just like tell me, I mean, obviously you already have mentioned a lot of the stuff in your previous answers, but can you just give me like a summary of how it all started and how you got to where you are today?
Um, I would say, it all started back with my original band. And again, kind of not knowing really what to do, failing over and over and over, trying to book, trying to kind of figure out a brand and an identity. And again, so when I got to my name, it was rather easy to just be like, okay, I know what doesn't work, and I have an idea what was working with the band. And so we just, when it came to my name, my management, we were really quick to be like, okay, you know, we need a brand, we need a name, well, my name, and something that sets you apart. So that's where um, I got Goldie, which is my gold guitar. And that kind of image and just always kind of having gold in the background, it was just a branding decision and a marketing decision. And people around town begin to know or familiarize themselves with that image. So it just kind of just kept snowballing from there. We just kept doing stuff. We just kept playing stuff, and we just kept building and building and building. And at every single show, we would pass out like flyers with the little Instagram handle. People, we didn't even know, or they would come up to the merch table and it would just be a little flyer with the Instagram thing. And we caught some, we caught some attention from like, Fender, and then they jumped on. And then kind of right when we got Fender, which was the first one, which is absolutely crazy. Shout out Billy Siegel. Love you, bro. Um, all the others just kind of came right in like week after week after week after week, minus Taylor Guitars and Seymour Duncan. They came quite a bit after. Um, but yeah, you build relationships with people, and you just keep going. You just never stop. Just persistence. And yeah, I would say that's kind of my story.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're a great example of like, if you want to accomplish something, you should just like keep going and like,
Yep.
you should like, never stop working.
Yep.
So, yeah. Well, obviously, all of your hard work and persistence definitely paid off. And
I agree.
like, what were some of the highlight moments in your journey?
I think Kubu was one of those moments where we were not ready for that level of production. We were in the big leagues, kind of. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. We weren't ready for that, but we were there, and we played our show and we did our thing, and we got a lot of really good feedback from the staff and the festival staff that were just kind of like, we'll see you around soon. Like it was a really cool moment. That one was, I don't want to say like overwhelming because that's the wrong word, but it was just like, wow, like this is the big leagues. I want to keep going up into this. So yeah, I would say that was a moment that was absolutely incredible. And then some other moments are, after we play our sets, I try to meet with people, and they will tell me certain things, and music is really powerful, and it's incredible to see the way that something you wrote or played affects people in different ways, and they make it their own. And that's something I can't really pinpoint like one moment, but it has happened over and over and over, and it's really cool when that happens. One more moment, I promise. This is the last one. When I was playing the House of Blues the second time, we were working with Live Nation, and I believe their name was Half the Animal. We were support act for them, and again, we did really well. Packed the room, and I remember when we got into my second song, a lot of the crowd was singing my song back to me, and it was one of those moments that I was like, whoa. That was I even got a little emotional on stage. I got a little teary-eyed because I was just like, that's what that feels like. Holy crap. I'm just thinking about it right now. I'm getting all smiley, and that was another beautiful moment that I'll never forget.
I bet. Yeah, I mean, the audience singing your lyrics back to you. I mean, it's definitely,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's huge. Like, that's like when you know that you've arrived. That's when you know that the art that you create actually
Yes.
reaches people and people enjoy it. So, yes, I mean, I can understand why you teared up a little bit.
Yeah, it was special, really special.
So, what notable musicians have you played or like collaborated with at this?
I would say,
Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Okay, and who was your favorite?
Oh, that's okay. So I'll say who I've collabed with. I've done shows with, Christopher Leva, the Falling Doves, who, by the way, is my favorite. Um, Done shows with Zane Carney, who used to play with John Mayer. Um, he writes for Avril Lavigne, incredible guy, such an awesome dude. I mean, the list of musicians that we've built with Half the Animal. Oh man, Verdell Smith. Oh, I could keep going on and on and on, but I'll never stop. We'll just leave it at that.
Definitely a couple of really notable names right there. I mean, I am a huge fan of Avril. Well, with John Mayer, I like a couple of his songs, but I was never really like that big a fan. But still, like, it's a huge name, so it just like goes to show like how far you've really come.
Well, technically, that was Zane who worked with those people. I was giving his accolades who he had worked with.
I see.
Yeah. I don't want to take credit for something I didn't do.
I see. And I can see why Christopher Leva would be your favorite. Like I said, him and I have been hanging out for the past 5 years, and like every single time they play in Los Angeles, which is sometimes not as often as I would like, but
Mhm.
it's always a really special experience. And like I know that whenever they play in LA, I just have to come out. It's like a given.
Yeah,
Well, because
they're
it's the only time that I ever get to hang out with them because Chris is such a busy guy. Like the phone
yeah.
does tour all the time,
hmm
and yeah, basically the only time when I can see him is when they do a show.
Yeah. Well, we've been support acts for the Doves on their Norwegian tours, through Australia. We played in the UK with them, in Ireland, and we've done a couple of festivals in Mexico. Yeah, yeah. We've toured a lot with the Doves. I love those guys.
Yeah, well, I can definitely see why.
Mhm.
And speaking of touring, where have you toured so far? And what was your favorite like state or country that you visited?
Okay. Well, I've done somewhat of a West Coast tour, East Coast tour, played in Canada years ago, Mexico. So that covers kind of the states in this area,
Mhm.
Australia, Norway, Ireland, UK. I'm missing one that's going to drive me crazy. Oh well. But I will say Japan has eluded us 2 times and it drives me crazy. And we actually had an opportunity to go this year with the Doves, but it just didn't work out. So we'll get back there soon. I know we will get Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and can you just clarify, have you played in Japan before, or was it like one of those like tour gigs that just fell through?
Say that one more time.
So have you technically played in Japan before, or was that a gig that did not work out?
So we actually had a tour lined up with the Doves for quite a long run in Japan. Uh, of course, then 2020 hits and tours canceled. So, and it was like, I want to say April of 2020. It was like, like, yeah, everything stopped. The whole music industry stopped.
You know, like that's right when the pandemic hit really hard and
Mhm.
everything started shutting down. So
Yep.
thank goodness those things are now over.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, music's finally back and we're out here doing our thing again.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I remember that I think sometime in the middle of 2020 or maybe even 2021, I was seriously freaked out that Maui Sugar Mill in Tarzana might close down.
Hmm.
Even had like a petition going on where they wanted to like have a lot of people pay them just so they could keep their doors open, just so they
Yeah.
could like pay the rent. And like I was so freaked out that now Sugar Mill might disappear because I have been going there for years now. Um, for about 6 years, actually.
Hmm.
That's where I met Chris.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, Chris and I actually met at, and I remember specifically that it was at the beginning of February in 2017
Hmm.
when I went to Maui Sugar Mill to see a friend play. And at the end of the night, like she and I were hanging out with a bunch of people, like at the end of, at the end of the show. And Chris was one of the guys who were like standing with me by the bar. And
Okay.
him and I just like we looked at each other at one point and we started talking. And honestly, I cannot for the life of me remember what we talked about because it was so obviously, but like we became friends on social media. And just a couple of months later, I went to see their first show. And I mean, things just took off from there. So yeah, it's definitely a really special place. And like with the whole thing that happened with the pandemic, I'm definitely glad that, things are basically back on track now. People
Yeah.
don't wear masks anymore. Well, some people do, but the rules have definitely been lifted from like those restrictions. So
Yeah.
yeah, thankfully, COVID has is gone.
Yep. I agree. And, that was something that was in a lot of conversations in the industry was, we book stuff 9 to 12 months out as far as like touring and shows. And so, there was a lot of hesitancy to book. Um, I want to say all the way into like 2022,
Mhm.
because we were worried that, okay, if we book out, we don't know if it's going to get shut down again. Like it was a really really rough time. And, you know, a lot of people in the industry, I would get email after email after email. Hey, it's been, you know, great, you know, being your artist person at so and so company, you know, but I can no longer work due to the pandemic. And it would be like person after person after person. And whether it was Live Nation or, you know, some of my A&Rs at the companies, it was just, it was a crazy time. And I hope we never do it again.
I mean, seriously, I hope so too, because remember that I think in like maybe April or May in 2020. Actually, I think it was May.
Mhm.
Uh, there was like that one period of time when things started slowly opening up again. Like I remember
Yep. And then,
to go to a restaurant first
mhm,
month of March, and even back then, like the rules were really, really strict. Like you had to like social distancing. People would like constantly sanitize everything. You could only
mhm,
have like one person per table and stuff like that. And that only lasted for, I want to say, like even less than a month, maybe just like a couple of weeks. Like I don't remember now, obviously, but and then like there was this period of time, like um, up until let's say about 2022, when things just like kept, you know, shutting down and opening back up again,
mhm.
and people were saying how like there's another like
Yep.
wave, infections coming in.
Yeah.
Well,
It was a long time.
it was a really long time, but thankfully, knock on wood, it's over.
Yes.
And do you have any like notable moments from the road, like any fun or crazy stories or experiences that like you specifically remember, like that you like are close to your heart?
Hmm. There is so many moments, but I would say just being with your friends, touring, kind of being in the trenches, so to speak, um, up super late at night, no places are open. Um, just being with people that you really care about and love, to me, is those are the special moments. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely a really big thing to like value and cherish about those experiences, and like definitely see how like it would be special to you, because I feel the exact same way. Like anytime I go out and like, even I mean, whether the friends I'm hanging out with are in a band that's going to perform at some point during the night, or
Hmm.
I'm just seeing a show. Yeah, it's always special. Okay. And what projects are you currently working
So I'm currently promoting my single "So in Love," which is why I'm here. Um, it's our debut single. I'm really excited about it. I'm really proud of the video. Everything about this song is awesome, and I can't wait to share it with everybody.
on? I bet. And I'm actually kind of embarrassed to admit that I haven't listened to that single yet, but I promise I will.
Hmm. Okay, well,
Yeah,
you have
well,
to let me know what you think.
I absolutely. Yeah, I'll definitely check out your music. And do you have any like more projects coming up? Like, what's next on the agenda?
We're just right now. We're just focusing on getting the word out there about this song, and we got a couple interviews lined up, a couple um, news appearances, and maybe an upcoming tour. I'm going to be quiet about stuff until it actually happens, but yeah, we're going full steam ahead with this single to launch everything.
Yeah, well, that definitely sounds really exciting, especially the tour part. I mean, how long has it been since your last tour?
Uh, Years. It's been way too long. But
Wow.
again, yeah, I mean, during COVID, there again, 9, 12 months out, we weren't comfortable, putting all that money up. And especially even still, we're still feeling a lot of the uh, post effects of that when touring is 400% increase in cost at the moment. So it's really difficult when the big bands are struggling to break even. Um, so, but again, hopefully to change that coming up soon.
I see. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely keep your fingers crossed, and I will keep mine crossed, and I'm pretty sure it will happen.
I agree.
Yeah, Matthew, those were all of the questions that I had today, and thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me. It's been so fun, learning all about like what you did, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon in Los Angeles, either at the Falling Doves show or maybe hopefully next time you play.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank